Most people don't admit this out loud, but you've gone through long stretches of life without real friendships. Not because you hate people, not because you're antisocial, and not because you're broken. It's a quieter kind of loneliness, the kind that happens even when you're surrounded by others, when conversations feel shallow, when connection feels close but never quite reachable. And before we go any further, this isn't shyness. It isn't bad luck. It isn't social failure. What you experience comes from something much deeper, a set of high-functioning psychological traits that make you perceptive, thoughtful, and emotionally complex, but also subtly disconnected in ways few people can see. This isn't about fixing you, it's about understanding you. Because people who struggle to maintain friendships often aren't socially weak, they're socially different. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. 1. You feel too much, too quickly. When someone talks, you don't just hear their words. You feel their tone, their tension, their mood shifts. You pick up on micro-expressions, pauses, emotional undercurrents others barely register. A simple conversation can feel like emotional multitasking. Psychologically, this is called high emotional permeability, a nervous system that absorbs social information at a deeper bandwidth. You don't just process interactions intellectually, you process them emotionally and somatically all at once. But this comes at a cost. Socializing drains you faster than it drains others. What feels like casual connection to them feels like emotional labor to you, so you pull back. Not because you dislike people, but because you feel them too intensely. From the outside, this gets misread as distance, coldness, or disinterest. People assume you're detached when you're actually overwhelmed. What they see as emotional absence is really emotional saturation. You're not low empathy, you're high exposure. 2. You need depth earlier than most people. Small talk doesn't feel neutral to you. It feels hollow. Not because you think you're above it, but because your mind naturally moves toward meaning, patterns, and psychological subtext. You want conversations that explore why people think, feel, and choose the way they do. Psychologically, this reflects high-trait introspection, a mind that orients toward depth rather than stimulation. You don't bond through surface-level exchanges, you bond through shared understanding. The cost is that most social environments operate on emotional lightness, humor, updates, casual stories. You can participate, but you rarely feel nourished. So you stay quiet, you disengage, you wait for conversations that rarely arrive. Others misinterpret this as seriousness, boredom, or judgment. They assume you're uninterested when you're actually waiting for something real enough to meet you where you live internally. You're not socially rigid, you're depth-oriented. 3. You overthink social interactions. Long after they end, you replay conversations, you analyze tone shifts, you wonder if you said too much, too little, the wrong thing, or nothing at all. You notice what others miss, and then you can't unsee it. This comes from high cognitive simulation, a brain that automatically runs multiple interpretations and outcomes. It's not anxiety, it's pattern processing. Your mind isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to understand. But socially, this creates friction. Instead of moving fluidly between interactions, you linger mentally inside them. This slows your emotional momentum and makes connection feel effortful instead of instinctive. Others misread this as insecurity or social awkwardness. But the truth is, you're not uncertain, you're thorough. You don't skim experiences, you analyze them. You're not overthinking, you're over-processing. 4. You withdraw without needing conflict. Sometimes friendships don't end in explosions. They fade quietly, unanswered messages, delayed replies, longer silences. Not because anyone did anything wrong, but because staying socially engaged feels heavier than retreating into your inner world. Psychologically, this reflects low social reward sensitivity, meaning your brain doesn't receive the same dopamine boost from frequent social interaction that others do. You don't avoid people, you just don't crave proximity. The damage here is invisible. People assume you lost interest, grew distant, or replaced them. They don't see the internal exhaustion, the emotional saturation, the quiet need for solitude. You're not abandoning connection, you're conserving energy. 5. You feel fundamentally different, even when you're accepted. You can be liked, You can be welcomed. You can belong to groups and still feel separate, not excluded, just misaligned. Like your internal world runs at a different frequency than the people around you.